Hey everyone, Tony Winston here, working out of this book today. Yeah, hold it up to the camera. Yeah, it's Here, Right Matters by Alexander Vindman, and it's quite an interesting book. I'd encourage you to read it. Pretty good book, and it really, tells a great story about an American patriot who told the truth. And truth matters. It's kind of hard to come by these days, especially if it's like on a website that calls itself Truth. If it calls itself Truth, it probably isn't. The song we're going to work on today is Green Dolphin Street, and it's in the first real book. The chart will be down there in the description. I know I've covered this song before, but hey, it's a new day. Let's cover it again. I'm going to do advanced stuff on it first. I'm going to break it down more for beginners at the end of the video. So let's see what we got here. All right, so the A section, uses a pedal tone, so you can really get away with just about anything. And listen to Chick Corea do it. He's all over the place, He's just like a great player. He knows what he's doing. Stuff like that, but let's look at some fourth voicings first. We got this. You can use anything that's built on the white keys. So you can use some clusters too. I like cluster. Here you want to use some of those cool fourth voicings that McCoy Tyner was so famous for. Those are all good. And then we get to D. And, you could play such cool stuff here. You can do something like that, or you can make it an altered chord. Something like that, maybe. All that kind of neo-soul stuff, All right, we can use some pentatonic runs. A G. Or we could get outside a little bit. Using a lot of pentatonic ideas here and fourth voicings. So G pentatonic. All right, you gotta say A flat pentatonic. It's not exactly a C minor, but it sounds cool, so we can do it. It's got a lot of the notes from C minor. In fact, it's like C natural minor kind of. And then put an E pentatonic instead of a D, and then an E flat pentatonic, of course, will suggest the altered chord. But if we do it like this, then, it doesn't sound exactly like an altered chord because we don't have the third. All right, now you can do lots of other kind of stuff too. D pentatonic there, and then E flat pentatonic is pretty typical. When we get to the 2-5-1s in the B section, I guess they call that, the B section. Again, we can use some fourth voicings. All right, so what I do there, I don't really know, but, on D minor, you never have to think. Just do the white keys. And then, once again, it suggests the dominant chord. And so you got to think about what pentatonics fit over this. A flat pentatonic, B flat pentatonic will work, G pentatonic. All right. It is a G chord, right? So even though you're doing something crazy here, I can do something like that, I think. Though I'm not crazy about that idea. Sometimes a good idea is to take these little 1-4-5 type patterns here, move it up, maybe this. We could take a pattern like this, these 1-4-5 type patterns. I like to use these. Get one that's got at least one note that's kind of out. So we take D minor, and there's one that's got a B flat that doesn't quite fit. And then on G, let's go up to this one here, and I think that would sound pretty cool. That one would work nicely too. Now the F sharp, that's the note that's really out there, right? How can you have an F sharp on a G7th chord? Even if you're playing a weird G7th chord like this, the F sharp still sounds kind of out. But let's see if we could use it as we're starting on D. And, because every note will slide into a C major, it's going to work. All right, now we do the same thing on the 2-5-1 and E flat. And when you go out like that, you do want to usually bring it back in if you care about the listener at all, which some of you don't, but most of you hopefully do. So if you care about the listener, you bring it back in, like I did in Johan Kim's video. You go outside, but then you bring it back in with a little blues. And I think that would even work in this song. I'm not sure, but let's give it a try. So that's old school stuff there, doing things in fourths. Right? It's so great because the ideas that work in minor also work in major. Like if you're thinking A minor, doing something like that works, but works just as well in C major. So I think like that frequently when I'm doing a drop 2. That, you can think, oh, that's a nice F minor, right? It also works for A flat. The last section, I gotta say, I'm gonna have a harder time coming up with ideas for this because it's got all these chords. And I think really to modernize it, you have to simplify it first. Kind of think about, where the progression is heading and then get there kind of in a roundabout way. So let's take the first part here. We got all right, so we're starting on D and we want to end on A. I have no idea if that would sound good or not in an arrangement. that might work too, just starting on the D minor and going down that way, and then this way, and then, modernizing it a little bit with some fourth voicings. I enjoy exploring this kind of stuff, but I gotta say, when I listen to all the different versions, Chick Corea and Bill Evans and Oscar Peterson, the one I like the best is Oscar Peterson, because Ed Thigpen is playing on the drums, and I don't know if he ever does go to the cymbal, but he just does the brushes and stuff, and the piano has a huge sound, right? All the overtones and harmonics, it takes up the whole spectrum. And when you have those drums, not the drums, the cymbals just bashing away, it really, I think, takes away from the overall sound that you could be getting. A good version, I would say, for somebody who does use the cymbals really well is Keith Jarrett. If you listen to Jack DeJohnette, he's very light and gentle on the cymbals and doesn't just pound away on them. He just flicks around on them and just touches different things and just adds a little color. And, he's listening to the piano, in other words, not just, he's not just being a metronome. And, but I really think that and my friends all know this too, that if you show up on my gig and you bring a cymbal that's got rivets in it, I come out with the duct tape and I start taping those rivets down, because I just can't stand that wash of noise there. And you could even say that the brushes, it's just kind of like sandpaper in the background. But to me, it's a much more pleasing sound. It's more like tape hiss or something. And then, of course, you put little rhythmic ideas in there. It's not just a wash. Okay, let me break the song down here for some of us beginners. I consider myself a beginner, especially when it comes to that advanced stuff. But we got C, major 7th, and the melody note clashes directly with that major 7th. What are you going to do? Learn to love it. It sounds okay. Maybe fill in some other notes, or change it to a 6th chord. That's what most people do. Now we got a minor 7th chord here, and I'm using open voicings. I'm not just playing everything down there. I'm moving things around a little bit. D7 over C. All you got to do is think of the D, because the C is the 7th, all right? And a D flat, you could call it D flat major 7th, because once again, there's our major 7th. And that's just such a cool sounding chord. You don't have to do anything to it to make it sound great. It's what it is. And then, you could use a church chord right here, or get a little major 7th in there. Now, a lot of times in these two measures, you can have something like, where you go down to the A7th to lead to the D, or just throw in an A7th. All right, now this is a great spot to use drop 2. However, just playing the 3rd and the 7th there. Even a full G7th chord will support this flat 9 and sharp 9 pretty well, so you can do that. Sometimes a dominant 7th chord just needs either the 7th or the 3rd. The other stuff kind of makes it sound dominant. Like you could get away with this, because you just played the 7th there, and then you got that. Now, C major, you could play what's called a 6-9 chord. You could add the 5th if you like. And here you could do another stack of 4ths. The F is the not really in the chord, but you could say it's the 11th of the chord, right? The 11th, because it's 11 notes up from C. See, 1, 2, 3, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, okay? It doesn't matter where it is. All right, and then you've got... you do some inversions. All right, the hardest part is the last section. Let's take it slowly. All right, you're on D minor. If you want to add the bass note, just add it there. And then here's B minor 7 flat 5. It's the easiest one to remember of the minor 7 flat 5 chords, also called a half diminished chord. It's all white keys, so you never have to think about it again. And we've got F in the melody, so we could take it out there. So. Now I've got 2/3 in there, so I could change it to the 5th or just leave it out. All right, here I've got A minor. It would sound good to go here and then down to there rather than up to here. Either one is okay, but if we want to do that lower one, we're going to need an open voicing. We can't do this. All right. This just doesn't sound professional. We've got to take out the middle notes probably and try to put them in the chord up here. So I'm going to try to put the C there. Maybe I could put it here instead. In fact, that sounds pretty good right there. Let me fill in another note like that. If you can reach that. If you can't reach it, let's see, what else could we do? We could do that. It's not quite as strong, but we could definitely do it that way. All right, now we've got F. It's too low. You just can't do that, not really. So we'll take out the 2 middle notes, put them up here. One of them's the melody note anyway. And here we've got, all we need is that. But hey, you want to play jazz, every dominant chord, you got to at least think about something you could add to it. A flat 9 is the best choice usually. Could be a regular 9, could be a sharp 9, but you can see the flat 9 is the better choice. All right, here's E minor. I can play it just like this. Okay. What could I do, to avoid playing a closed voicing? I could leave the 3 out and put it up there, but then it's close to the melody. So I'm just going to do it this way. I don't always have to think, everything has to be, an open voicing, or I have to put a flat 9 on every dominant chord. Sometimes simple is best. And here we have A7. I've got 2 7ths. I need a 3rd. Maybe I could add something to it. Flat 9. All right, here's our G chord. What could I add to that? Flat 9, it's a little far away. Maybe I could put a sharp 11 into it instead. Or just think of it as the flat 5. Like them old jazz players would call it, the flat 5. And then C major 7th. That's a reharm there. Now there's a close voicing that sounds really nice. E minor, D major, gives us that beautiful E minor 11 chord. And then there's a tritone, that's an E flat chord instead of the A. And then there's a nice open voicing. All right. This is one of the coolest jazz. I learned this thing so long ago. I think I learned this chord in 1976 from a piano player up at the Concord Hotel in New York, up in the Catskills, where I played 2 summers as one of the house bands up there. To improvise, you've got to use all your skills for 2-5-1s. Nothing wrong with working that out. Let me use a regular voicing. All right, using the diminished scale. So there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video and the book review, and I'll be back again with another song, another concept, and another book review. I'm reading a really good book right now, too.